This story is a timeless adventure set on the planet Arion in the Pegasus Nebula galaxy. Get ready to explore the mysterious adventures of the universe together. Have a good time.
Once upon a time, there was a boy called the Little Prince who lived on a very small planet among the millions of stars twinkling in the sky. The Little Prince's planet, B612, was lost among the other stars. On this planet, there were 3 volcanoes, a baobab tree, and his favorite rose. His rose was his most precious possession. Every morning, he gave water to its delicate petals and put it in a glass lantern to protect it from the wind. The Little Prince looked after his rose with great care and tried to fulfill her every need. His days were spent cleaning his volcanoes, digging up baobab seedlings, and tending his rose. One day, however, the boundaries of this small planet began to feel too narrow for him. Doing the same things every day awakened in the Little Prince a desire for discovery. The desire to discover new things encouraged him to leave his planet. The Little Prince wanted to travel among the stars and see new planets. The first stop was a planet ruled by a king. This king sat on a huge throne and ruled only himself. The kingdom had no wide borders, only the king's authority. The Little Prince watched the king's loneliness and meaningless power. The king was constantly giving orders, but these orders had no meaning or effect. The splendor of the kingdom existed only in the king's head. The Little Prince realized that the splendor of the kingdom was only an illusion and continued his journey. The next planet was inhabited by an arrogant man. This man expected everyone to admire and appreciate him. The Little Prince observed the man's constant arrogance. The man praised himself every time, telling how perfect he was. However, he realized that this arrogant man was actually very lonely and fragile inside. Arrogance was hiding his true self. The Little Prince saw the emptiness and loneliness in this man. It was time to leave here too. On the 3rd planet, he met a drunkard. The man was constantly drinking to forget his shame. The Little Prince observed this man's desperation and escape. The drunken man was sinking deeper and deeper into sorrow as he fled from his own shame. The Little Prince felt the desperation of this man's situation. The man's constant drinking made him feel ashamed, and it didn't make him forget his pain. On the contrary, it made it worse. The Little Prince understood the situation and continued on his way. The 4th planet was home to a businessman. This businessman was constantly counting the stars and claiming to own them. The Little Prince realized that the businessman was pursuing wealth in a meaningless way. The stars were just twinkling lights in the sky, but the businessman was trying to own them. This attempt to own them showed that he did not really own anything. The businessman was trying to satisfy himself by counting the stars and thinking that he owned them, but in fact, it was an illusion. The Little Prince saw the vain endeavor of this man and left his planet. On the 5th planet, the Little Prince met a lantern maker. The lighthouse keeper was constantly switching his lantern on and off. He did this work with great devotion, but he was tired of working nonstop. The Little Prince understood the dedication and monotony of the lighthouse keeper. The lighthouse keeper had forgotten his own existence while fulfilling his duty. Doing the same thing every day made the lighthouse keeper's life colorless and meaningless. However, the lighthouse keeper acted with a sense of duty. The Little Prince observed this cycle in the life of the lighthouse keeper and admired his loyalty. However, he felt that he had to leave here too. The 6th planet was home to a geographer who lived in a room full of big books. The geographer was mapping the world, but he was doing it without traveling. The Little Prince observed the geographer's life, full of knowledge but motionless. Books were shaping the geographer's world, but this world was only on paper. The geographer collected and recorded knowledge, but he did not experience it. The Little Prince saw the incompleteness of this way of life and decided to leave here too. At last, the Little Prince came to Earth. On Earth, he found himself in the middle of a desert. The desert was covered with endless sands and lost in silence. Here, he met a fox in search of friendship. The fox told him the value of friendship and loyalty. The Little Prince learnt the word taming and understood its meaning. The fox taught him the importance of establishing a bond with domestication and the responsibilities that this bond brings. His friendship with the fox left deep traces in the little prince's heart. The fox told him that people usually believe in what they see with their eyes, but the truth cannot be seen with the eyes. One can only see the truth with one's heart, said the fox. The little prince thought about the deep meaning of these words. As he continued his journey through the desert, the little prince met a snake. The snake taught him a way to leave his body. The little prince planned to return to his planet with the help of the snake. Everyone and everything he met during his journey taught him deep lessons. The king, the arrogant man, the drunkard, the businessman, the lighthouse keeper, and the geographer all taught the little prince different things. Now it was time to return to his planet. Returning to his planet would be a new beginning for him. The little prince returned to his planet with the help of the snake. He met his beloved Rose again and continued to live peacefully on his planet. He loved his Rose even more and cared for her even more. The little prince's journey had taught him the true meaning of friendship, love, and life. He was no longer alone on his planet because he had learnt the power of love and friendship and carried these values in his heart. As he looked at his Rose every day, he remembered the lessons the fox had taught him. His Rose was not just a plant for him, but a valuable friend. And so, the fairy tale journey of the little prince came to an end. But his story, like the stars twinkling in the sky, continued to shine forever. Each star carried a memory and a lesson. The little prince has always lived in our hearts because the values he taught were universal and timeless. The days spent on the little prince's planet brought him both peace and deep wisdom. This small planet, shining among the stars, now shone not only in the hearts of the little prince, but also in the hearts of everyone who knew his story. As the stars shine in the night sky, the story of the little prince continues to shine in each of our hearts.